Hey guys, welcome back. Got this nice little pale largemouth on a robo-worm drop shot in it. It's about a pounder, maybe a little less. Wash it off so you get a look. But what happened was I was throwing it in a spot, picked up the tripod, thought maybe I'd get a fish, and there she is. It's a decent guy, about, I don't know, 14 inches. Robo-worm drop shot. Just a little Namagatsu hook. It's an 8-pound floor clear. Nice little guy. You hit it hard and you smack it. If you're gonna get a fish this time of year on a drop shot, you're gonna smack it. It's actually not too warm out, about low 60s, something like that, but it's gonna start getting cooler. And that's when the fish start hitting. So keep on staying tuned, maybe we'll get some more bass. It's early fall right now, and normally I'd be using crankbaits. Jigs, big jigs. I'd be working any leftover vegetation, but I'm completely doing the opposite of what I would originally be doing. I'm actually working steep drop-offs, barren drops-offs, just with rocks and not a lot of weeds. This is about the only spot in the lake that doesn't have living lily pads. And what I'm doing is I'm just drop-shotting over these rocks. I believe it gets a little bit sandier over here, so there's one right there. Got him. Little guy. Oh, little bluegill. Look at that. Just goes to show all these fish right now are going for the big meals. You know, it's just like a simple thing with animals as well. You know, a bear is just gonna eat everything he possibly can find, stock up on berries and meat, and he'll get really fat. And same thing these fish do. They'll just stock up on a ton of food and get ready for that winter to come. So using a drop shot worm is completely opposite of what you'd normally be using this time of year. But they're still going to hit on the crankbaits. Mainly the reason why I'm using the drop shot is because the fish are just hugging on these rocks right now. They're looking for these minnows that are filtering in and through here. I decided just to throw a little drop shot in their face just to see what the reaction would be. So, you know, obviously a subtle technique when this water's a little bit cooler. Water temperature is very similar to the air temperature. It's low 60s. Sun's starting to come out a little bit. But later in the afternoon, it's going to be a little bit windier. The air temp's going to drop. The water temp's going to stay the same. And that's when you want to start throwing the crankbaits. I'll even later in the evening throw some topwater as well. Topwater is a great lure to be throwing this time of year, mainly because of its erratic action. You know, a lot of these fish are going to be hanging up close to the oxygen. You know, like I said, they're just stocking up on just about everything. Oxygen, they're finding a place to settle down for the winter. So anywhere there's a deep area where there may be some grass still lingering, and it's a perfect spot right here because you've got the rocks heating up this area, which are going to keep some of that little vegetation down there. That's probably going to be some of the only living vegetation that'll stay down here. So that's mainly what I'm doing right now. I'm putting those tactics in pieces. I'm finding the puzzle pieces, and I'm catching these bass this way. A lot of people ask, you know, how do you feel the bite? How do you work a drop shot? Mainly, it's pretty easy. It's just like fishing a jig or you know, a plastic. Someone may say, "Oh no, buddy, it's completely finesse. You know, you don't do it that way." Really, you do. I mean, the bite feels the same. They're actually going to bite a little bit harder. They're going to grab it and pull away from it, and it makes it easier to set the hook. A lot of people what they do is they make the mistake of just ripping it out, and that's just pulling it out of their mouths. You want to just kind of give it a big tug, upwards tug, which is just going to put that hook right in their mouth. And then swimming away is also going to be a good resistance for a good hook set. Like I said, you're going to feel a couple taps and they're just going to run off with it. You know, it's pretty self-explanatory as far as drop shotting goes. I'm just working it really slowly. Sometimes I'll give it long strides just to get a reaction. All depends on what you prefer. That's mainly the tips and trickery of the day. There's one. Got it. That's a good fish. Oh, it's another little bluegill. Look at that. It's also a key sign too. You know, you're catching these bluegill like this. Like, what is going on? You know, and something else to tell you that these big fish are hanging around here because the bluegill are over here as well. Bee stuff. This isn't exactly bluegill. It's just a little green gill. A little bit different, a little bit more chunkier. Bass like these green gills better than bluegill. They have a little bit more meat on them. Here he goes. So that's a good sign as well. Start catching bait fish in an area you know you're in the right spot. I might actually throw some swim baits later too. Fish are just going for the big meals. There's no shad in this lake, so I mean, it's a dead giveaway. You're not going to be using a lot of rattle traps. Rattle trap's not going to be your main lure. If there was shad in here, I'd be throwing a rattle trap, I'd be throwing other stuff, but you're going to have to use what you've got. Bluegill, of course, are in here. A lot of insects. Dragonfly nymphs, stuff like that, of course, aren't going to be around this time of year, but there's a lot of it in. Guys, welcome back. Decided to just pitch right into the leftover lily pads, and I got this nice 3 pound, 2.5 pound chunk right here. Big old stomach, about, say 19, a little bit under 20 inches. Good fish though. I mean, he slammed that jig, Alabama craw jig. Caught it on the Shimano Crowder with the Shimano Crucial 7-foot rod. Anyways, nice fish. Just goes to show that you can catch them on drop shot, crankbait, jig, you know, whatever's leftover vegetation goes straight towards that. And I'm fishing on the side of the lake where there's the most leftover vegetation. That is a good fish. I'm gonna put right back into the water.